Okay, so Apple recently released Creator Studio, which is essentially their version of Adobe Creative Cloud. And there's a lot of big differences about it, but it's kind of like a re-release of their Pro apps that already exist with like an additional feature set available for just a subscription cost. And I've seen a lot of content related to what are the new features and what are the differences, but I think there's a more interesting narrative here in how it compares to Adobe Creative Cloud. And that's what this video is about. Okay, but before we get into the video, I just want to mention that a very small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed, but subscribing is completely free, and it's a great way to support my channel. So, Apple Creator Studio, what's all involved in it, right? So here are the apps involved. You get Final Cut Pro, Motion, Compressor, Logic Pro, Mainstage, Pixelmator Pro, and then you get Keynote, Numbers, Pages, and Freeform. These apps are already free, but you get additional features. So really you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 apps. And then basically the cost breakdown is for a new subscriber, you get a first month free, and then it's $12.99 per month or $129 per year. And if you're a student, this actually, it doesn't say here, but if you're a student or an educator, you still get 1 month free, and then it's $2.99 per month or $20.99 per year after your free trial. And that is kind of like a crazy low deal. And then if you buy an Apple device, you get a 3-month free subscription. So that is it in like kind of a nutshell. Okay, so what does this mean for people who already bought these apps, right? Like I already own Final Cut, and I bought it several years ago, and I paid one time to get it, and now I just get updates for life. But with this service, it seems like you will get more updates more frequently, and that's pretty cool. But if we look at the flip side, we can look at Adobe Creative Cloud. So this is a couple different things. So you get a lot more apps, right? So with Adobe Creative Cloud, you get 20 apps. It says 20 plus, but if we look in detail here, we can see here's all the apps you get. Obviously, some of these have limited usability or usefulness, but this is like kind of a crazy amount of apps that cover a lot of creative workflows. So if you buy it annually, billed monthly, it is $69.99 a month. If you pay it ahead of time, it is $779 per year, and monthly it's $104 a month. Cancel anytime. So that's a lot of money, but they also kind of have like these cheaper options. You can buy like specific apps, or you know, there's even like some bundled together. Creative Cloud Standard, Photoshop, Illustrator. This one's like really buried down here. They clearly don't want you to find that. That's crazy. Adobe Acrobat is $12.99 a month. That's literally the cost of Apple's entire suite. But I feel like one of the most common ones is just this one right here. Because why would you get just Photoshop when you can get Lightroom and Photoshop for $19.99 a month? This is honestly just a pretty good deal. And this is something I've, contemplated many times myself, except for the fact that I just can't stomach giving Adobe money on a regular basis. So if we look at their student discount, it's $24.99 a month. And this is everything. So that's like a very lucrative deal, like over half off. You still have to pay way more though, right? $24.99 versus Apple's $2.99. So that's something interesting to think about. But I don't know. So, if we're looking at this as someone like me, there's one app that I use in this suite, and it's Final Cut Pro. I mean, I use these, but I don't need the paid features in any of these apps, I would use Pixelmator Pro if, like, as an alternative to Photoshop, except for the fact that I'm not going to pay $12.99 a month to get 2 of those. Just 2 of the 6 apps. I don't really need them. And I already own Final Cut. So I don't know. And I was looking at some of the features, and there's some AI features and things. Some of them, it came to the regular Final Cut Pro app, which I don't even have that update yet. But a lot of the things I use Final Cut Pro for it's not really going to change my day to day. But obviously it would be better to have those features. But I guess I'm just sort of concerned for the future of like standalone apps. But as we speak, Apple is still selling them. So if we go to Mac, let's just do a quick checkout for a Mac Mini. Click buy, whatever. Click the cheapest ones. Sure. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Final Cut Pro license for $299. Logic Pro license for $199. Interesting. Did they discontinue the bundle? Looks like they discontinued the bundle. So I'm gonna say no thanks on both of these. No trade-in. Buy. Yeah, and it doesn't give me the option for the apps bundle. But if we do Apple Education Store, go to Mac, click on Mac Mini again, wait for this animation again, and click buy. It drops the price by $100 down to $499. And then we can get the Pro Apps bundle for education. And this is $199 one-time fee, and you get 5 of these apps. So the only notable thing you do not get is this Pixelmator Pro. Otherwise, you're getting Mainstage Logic, Motion Compressor, Final Cut. So you're getting all 5 of these for $199 one-time fee. And this doesn't require like authorization that you are an education person. This is just what it costs. So then $698 is your total. That is pretty crazy. This is actually the way that I bought the Pro apps like several years ago. I think it was 2021. I did the Pro Apps for Education bundle, and I've been enjoying Final Cut. I use it for every video I've made on this YouTube channel that you've watched over the past several years since 2021. So I also use it on some of my other YouTube channels, so I highly recommend it. But it's interesting that Apple has entered the field here, and they're kind of like directly competing with Adobe now in this like creative app space. And it's kind of interesting to think about what this is going to change. I wonder if we'd ever see any sort of reduction in cost. Like if Apple was actually stealing market share with these apps over time, I wonder if that could affect the way Adobe is pricing their apps. Could they kind of have like a monopoly on the creative app industry? Outside of, I would say, like Blackmagic. The Blackmagic video editing software being completely free is kind of crazy. But that's obviously more of an industry standard than something like Final Cut is. I don't know if Final Cut will ever be an industry standard or like compared to what it used to be. I feel like it's already had its peak. So it's possible we could see its peak return if they were regularly adding like big updates using Creator Studio. But this like kind of further embellishes Apple's subscriptions. They have like a lot. And this year I finally actually signed up. I'm signed up for Apple One now. So I get Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, and Apple Music, in addition to like iCloud space. So that's been interesting. And then I get Private Relay and some other, nonsense features. But that's the only Apple subscription I'm on. And until 2025, I didn't have any Apple subscriptions. I was still rocking the 5 gigabytes of iCloud storage. But that was just getting tough to do in this day and age. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about Apple Creator Studio. Would you ever sign up for it? I think it's kind of a no-brainer at the $299 price or $30 a year. That's like just straight up a no-brainer. I think almost anyone can afford that if they could afford the Mac that it's running on. And outside of that, I think it's kind of a steep price for what you get, especially considering for $199 you can get all of them. So you can get all of them for $70 more than the cost of 2 years. You would ROI on that in 2 years. So this one is tough to beat, but Anyway, this wasn't like my greatest video. I wanted to spend more time on this video, but I'm just trying to get into the practice of uploading this channel again. I have another channel that takes up a majority of my time, but I love Apple stuff and Mac stuff, so I'm gonna try to keep the uploads as consistent as I can in 2026 on this channel. And I just want to say thank you for watching and hearing me ramble about Apple Creator Studio and Adobe Creative Cloud. I'm really interested to see how this develops the situation. But as of now, I'm just going to stay with my Pro Apps bundle, and I'm good with that for now. I don't really need any of these AI features or stock photos that Apple's providing. And I'm just going to continue rocking the general Final Cut Pro app unless they stop updating it sometime in the future. But really hoping that doesn't happen. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. And until then, peace out.